All right, listen, I don't think I've talked to you guys since we found out for sure that Lamar Jackson's going to be out in this game, the Texans versus the Ravens, week 5 of the NFL season. And there's one thing I'm tired of, okay? Tired of hearing about Derrick Henry's lifetime stats versus the Houston Texans. I care about Derrick Henry versus a DeMeco Ryans defense, both with and without Lamar Jackson. Let's go back to the first time these two teams faced towards the end of the regular season in 2023. Derrick Henry had 16 carries for 9 yards. When you've got an awful quarterback like Will Levis, you can load up against Derrick Henry and make him all the focus of your attention. And DeMeco Ryans and that defense did a really good job of it. There's one thing about those two games I'd say is that there were times where the Texans were a little too eager and had their eyes in the backfield too much, but Will Levis couldn't connect downfield. He wasn't a good enough quarterback. I think Cooper Rush is probably a better quarterback than Will Levis. Cooper Rush has a 9-5 career record. Won 4 games in a row in 2022 when he took over for the Cowboys. So you don't sleep on him at all, but they have to be very, very mindful of the play action. I think the Texans have gotten better in terms of staying disciplined on the back end. The absence of C.J. Gardner-Johnson might help out with that a lot. This is one area that does concern me. Talk about play action. Let's talk about extreme play action. Derrick Henry, who has like a lifetime 115 passer rating as a quarterback, 0 interceptions, 5 touchdowns, did this versus the Ravens, so John Harbaugh remembers that he has this in his bag. This and the trickeration on special teams as well. Ravens are up against it, man. They've got so many starters. The 5 highest paid players on their team are going to be out in this game. So all of their best football players are gone. 2 of your best defensive backs, 2 of your starting defensive backs are out. They're down Lamar Jackson. They're down their fullback, which is actually a big deal versus the Ravens because some of the traps and wham blocks and everything that the Ravens have been good at using versus the Texans, not as effective without your starting fullback. This is there's no excuse for the Texans not to win this game. This will be devastating. The fact that the line stayed at 1.5 was after it was official that Lamar Jackson was gone out should be an extreme insult. If this Texans, without even saying the Texans are an awesome team or anything, just the strengths and the weaknesses match up pretty damn well. The one thing about the Ravens rushing attack, not just Derrick Henry. Yes, Derrick Henry's numbers are good. He's also fumbled 3 times this season, and the success rate, the consistency with which they get positive yardage, whether it's him or Justice Hill or anybody else, really hasn't been that good. It's a little bit like a muted version or a better version of what the Texans were last year, where Joe Mixon could rush for over 100 yards in a game. But you'd think, hey, they didn't rush the ball that well. He just had a couple of big runs, but on a down-by-down basis, they haven't been as good. The defense I feel good about. I think that as long as they can stay away from play action, they'll be fine. The Ravens' offensive line has not been as good as they were last year. Lamar Jackson has taken more quick pressure than he had before. He's taken more sacks than he has before. Some of them in coverage sacks. Some of them have been versus the blitz. Some of them have been with immediate pressure. But it just hasn't been functioning the same way. I know they're 3rd in the league in scoring. That's with Lamar Jackson, obviously. But aside from that, some of that's been when coming from behind. It's a little bit of an illusion. As far as the Ravens defense goes, the pass rush has not been good. The Kyle Van Noy coming back might make a bigger difference in that, and they get some rush off the edge. But Matabike being out is a big weakness for them. This is the thing I'd love to see with the Texans today. If you run duo, a play that the Texans would love to do, and I think have improved at it. If you're going to hear the Nick Haley and DeMeco Ryans talk about getting double teams and being effective with double teams. The Lions, if you watch the center and the guard, running duo here, double team in that defensive tackle, back makes the decision. You got the right tackle working up to a backer, and then they just got gashed over and over again versus the Lions. That's something the Texans want to major in, and it would be really nice if they just took another step forward today versus an incredibly banged-up Ravens defense. Not being cocky about Derrick Henry, just want to call it what it is. It's that a DeMeco Ryans defense versus Derrick Henry when he doesn't have a Lamar Jackson as his quarterback has been pretty damn good. That first game in 2023, Lamar Jackson was 16 for 19, 0 touchdowns. Second game, he was 12 for 42 with 0 touchdowns. Then, of course, remember Christmas Day. Remember Christmas last year with all of your stockings and sugar plums and whatnot, and Derrick Henry having 27 carries for 147 yards and a touchdown? That's what you want to avoid. I don't think that Cooper Rush is going to be the same dual threat necessarily with his 4.95 40. They can run the offense that Lamar Jackson was running, obviously just a pared down version of it. So when people worry about, oh man, you spent all week preparing for Lamar Jackson. All right, you spent some more time on zone reads. You spent some more time on design QB run plays, all of that. But the downside of not being prepared for Lamar Jackson was going to be a lot higher than the downside of being unprepared for Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is going to be the same offense minus some of the QB run threat stuff. The thing that's really exciting is that this Texans defense, which has been doing just fine rushing the passer, is facing a Ravens offense with Stanley, the offensive tackle, banged up. And they don't have to worry about a contained pass rush. The Texans don't have to do a disciplined contained pass rush, trying to keep Cam Ward in the pocket, trying to keep Baker Mayfield from scratch. Flush him. Flush Cooper Rush, please. Flush his little ass. I don't give a damn about Cooper Rush flushing. Excited about this game. Pre-game show starts on Sports Radio 610 in just a few minutes. So tune in. Listen on the Odyssey app. Like, subscribe.